What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I recently got some new fairings for my R6. So today I'm gonna make an installation video and show you guys how to install all these fairings on your own bike. Let's go. First off, shout out to Amotopart for these fairings. If y'all want some fairings for yourself or any type of bike, you can use my discount code ROYAL to save yourself some money while making that purchase. Secondly, I was contemplating changing the whole color of this bike, but since I have the white wheels and the whole overall white theme of this bike, I decided to keep it white, but instead of gloss white, it's now gonna be pearl white with a little bit of sparkles on it. And I'm so excited, it's gonna look even more luxury. Let me unbox this thing and show y'all how these fairings look. Check that out. If you look really closely to this, you can tell that in the sun, these have a sparkle to it compared to what fairings I have on it right now, which doesn't really have any sparkles. It's just completely gloss white. So it looks very plain. We will start with this front fairing right over here. You want to make sure to catch the washer as well too. So when you're putting the bolt back in, you want to put the washer in there first and then the bolt goes through. Now we have successfully taken off the front fairing. You want to make sure to get all these little grommets and these washers to put them on the new one to secure it in properly. We've got the grommets on the new fairing, so let's install this. Next, we're going to work on the tailpiece. It should only be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So it shouldn't be as complicated as the side fairings. We're gonna start off by taking off the seat, then taking off the rear cowl, and then undoing all these bolts at the bottom to be able to take all these fairings off. The way to open the tail is from down here, and that connects all the way to here. So you have to take off the whole pulley system in order to take off this bottom piece and replace the tail. But I decided to leave on these two fairings because you can't really tell the huge difference and no one's really looking at the bottom of the fairings like that. And just replace this fairing up here. You can see the pearl on it. Man, let me get this thing to focus. There we go. Look at that pearl shine. So we've replaced this piece and we're gonna replace this top piece and then we'll put the seat back on it. This fairing kit didn't come with the rear seat cowl, so I just told the company right now, hopefully I'll be getting sent one real soon. Here you can really tell the difference between the new paint and the old paint. Now we're gonna work on the tank. The tank shouldn't be too hard. We have to take off these side panels and then we have to lift up the whole tank, take off the airbox cover, and luckily these fairings came with a whole tank cover. So shouldn't be too hard to put it on at all. And I'm hyped because now I won't have to wrap the tank and it'll actually all be one color. I have a stabilizer on my bike, so there are 3 bolts that I have to take off in order to take off the stabilizer. 1, 2, and 3. So I can take this off and disconnect it from the airbox so I can actually replace this airbox. Take off this bolt. Lift up the tank, take off the airbox cover. We should be able to put the whole thing on. Now we finished the tank and look at that. I like the full tank cover on this. Put the tank back together. Now it's time to take off these side fairings right here. Got the couple bolts off the side fairing, and now we have to get off this inner fairing inside in order to actually take off the full side fairing. So after you're able to take off this side fairing, you have to disconnect this wire over here that connects to the side turn signal. Here we have the inside of the side fairing. It has the air duct attached to it, and it has a couple things like the heat shield and some foam pads. And you need to make sure to get all of these parts off and attach it onto the new fairing. The new fairing now has all the parts attached, including the air duct, but I did not put on the heat shield parts just as yet. The fairing kit came with a new heat shield, but I'm gonna wait until getting off the other side so I can accurately measure what heat shield needs to be where. Now we're gonna take off this side panel and the air duct cover on top and do the same thing on the other side. We have taken off the other side fairing as well. It's not too complicated, just a couple bolts in and out. Here's how the new fairing looks. Now what we have to do is transfer all these little grommets, the heat shield, the foam, the air duct onto the new one. My bike looks so naked right now. It's so weird seeing it like this, but I'm about to put it back together. We just did a little coolant flush as well too. So she will be running nice and cool now. And after this, all we have left is to take off this front piece. In order to take off the front piece, you have to take off the windshield to get the headlight casing out, and then we can start putting it back together. All the parts are off except for the front headlight fairing. To take these off, there's a couple screws right over here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to take off the whole headlight casing in order to get to this fairing right over here. After taking off your mounting bolts off of it, there are a couple bolts inside that are still connecting the front fairing. So let's get those up next. Here we have the front fairing completely off now. Here's how the bike looks. You don't actually have to unplug the headlights or any of those connections. Just make sure to place it down nicely. And now there are a couple bolts on the inside of the front fairing that we have to take off in order to actually detach these fairings. Now we have everything taken apart. It's time to put it back together. Now we've got the windshield on, the front fairing, the air duct, and the side connection piece. Now all we need is the big side fairings. You also have to make sure to connect the side blinker light using this connection into the fairing. So we got both sides of the fairings back on now, and look at this color. She got some pearls in her now. She is shining. This side is on as well too. The side fairings are a little troublesome, but after you get these two in, all you gotta do is put in the rest of the bolts. Make sure to get the bolt in the front over there and the bolt in the back over here. The last part is the covers that go right over here. And these are just small covers which go in with some push pins. So finally, we are done with a full fairing install. Shout out to Amotopart. They did a really good job. I'm really messing with this tank cover. We got the seat cowl. And look at this color. It shines a little bit, and I love that. No issues with the fitment at all. The fitment worked really well. All parts came in really nicely. And if you guys ever want yourself some fairings, make sure to hit up Amotopart and use my code ROYAL for a discount on them.